Organic and conventional farmers working together. We will hear their stories straight ahead on Grow. Plus, Senator Ben Sasse calls it an illegal propaganda campaign. The latest on waters of the U.S. coming up. Plus, we will talk state politics, property taxes, and the Packer ban on livestock ownership. And it's a real-world classroom. We will celebrate harvest with FFA kids in Ord. Get ready to grow. Pork politics is nothing new, but the politics of pork could be coming to the Nebraska legislature as they may debate the state's ban on packer ownership of livestock. That's our top story. Nebraska lawmakers could be in for a fight over bacon. More specifically, the so-called packer ban, a law that says meat packers cannot own animals and contract with farmers to raise them.
It will solve no known problem, but it will drive those independent producers that are still left out of business.
Nebraska Farmers Union fought the proposal last year, but the bill by Senator Ken Shills of Ogallala will carry over into the 2016 legislative session. Pork producers and Farm Bureau favor lifting the ban, saying it's holding the state back.
We are the only state now that has a ban on packers owning livestock. So when you look at the states around us, they're growing in livestock, especially in the hog numbers. And so it doesn't take a lot of reasoning, in my mind anyway, to say, you know what, this is one of the things that we can fix to be more competitive with the neighbors that are attracting livestock.
But Farmers Union argues all it would benefit is giant packers like Smithfield,
who happens to be a company that is 100% owned by the Chinese Communist government, and it is their marker in the marketplace to help meet their national food security needs.
Farm Bureau disagrees, with leaders saying pig farmers already have many contract arrangements, and this is another option.
It's really an issue of who farmers can partner with. Right now we can partner with a lot of different people. Packers are the only people that we can't partner with, so it just gives us another option on the table.
Farm Bureau argues lifting that ban could allow for the livestock industry to grow and create more dollars and jobs in rural Nebraska. Farmers Union, philosophically, they disagree. They say this could send those dollars to out of state. Well, a missed opportunity to clear up confusion in the livestock industry. That's what Nebraska Farm Bureau is saying. At issue is a speech by U.S. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack. He reportedly told the European Parliament the Obama administration recognizes antibiotics in agriculture as a problem and that they're working on a system to reduce those levels. But Farm Bureau President Steve Nelson says he's wrong, saying in a letter Vilsack is feeding into public concern when studies have shown the risk of creating antibiotic resistance in humans from livestock is unlikely. A social media campaign to get support for the controversial Waters of the U.S. rule may have created a controversy of its own. The Government Accountability Office says the EPA broke the law when they urged the public to submit comments on the draft rule. It reached 1.8 million people. The auditors say the EPA violated restrictions against lobbying and propaganda. Nebraska U.S. Senator Ben Sasse saying it's a symptom of a bigger problem.
Nebraskans know that the Waters of the U.S. rule is terrible policy, and everyone everywhere should agree that it is wrong for government bureaucracies to run illegal PR campaigns. This puddle propaganda was meant to rally support around the administration's unilateral rewrite of the law. That kind of spin might be commonplace in other parts of the world, but that's not how America works.
GOP lawmakers have vowed to block the rule as an example of overreach by the Obama administration. The government plans to launch a website for drone registration. This comes in response to safety concerns following multiple drone sightings near airports, and comes as thousands of drones are expected to be given as holiday gifts this year. Drone owners will have to pay $5 for a 3-year certificate. Regulations cover drones that weigh between half a pound and 55 pounds. Those heavier than 55 pounds will have to go through aircraft registration. That system set to take off December 21st. Helping local kids find good jobs in agriculture, NCTA in Curtis adds 2 new hands-on programs. The Nebraska College of Technical Agriculture works with industry to see where employers have needs and how the school can help fill them. That has resulted in a pair of programs that can be completed in a year.
We had 2 new certificates that were just approved by the coordinating commission just last week, one in welding and one in ag chemical applications, and those were developed in partnership with industry in the state of Nebraska.
School leaders say they've been working with farm co-ops and ag businesses and think these new programs can get young people on the fast track to jobs in demand right here in the area. Looking for property tax relief? You might want to check your mailbox right alongside your Christmas cards, as you can expect to receive a postcard letting you know how much you've saved on your property taxes because of the work the legislature and governor have done. Looking for tax relief? Better check your mailbox. Officials here at the state capitol know they're not sending out rebate checks, but they are sending out postcards letting you know how much higher your taxes would be if not for state dollars going into tax credits.
When I ask them about the property tax credit fund, they kind of look at me like with a blank look.
Think the powers that be haven't done anything on property taxes? Nebraskans will soon get the message about the tax credits some say are keeping property tax bills down.
And so we want to make sure we highlight so that they know what the legislature and the governor has been able to do for them.
770,000 postcards will hit the mail telling property owners how much they've saved because the legislature added $408 million to the fund.
Since we started the program in 2007, we returned $1 billion in property taxes to the taxpayers of Nebraska, and we raised it significantly last year. So the postcard is just to let people know we're trying down here.
The postcards come at a cost of $274,000. The idea is to point out how much higher taxes would be if the legislature had done nothing.
This is off the bottom line and reduces what you pay to when you go down and pay your tax bill.
The average credit, $250. The governor calls on schools and counties to keep taxes down, saying taxes are too high, especially on agricultural land.
We also know there's more work to do, and we're going to continue to work on additional solutions. But this solution here today to help highlight what we're doing for property tax owners is one of the ways that we can let Nebraskans know that the legislature and the governor have heard their concerns and we're working on it. There may be several competing proposals when the legislature reconvenes 3 weeks from this morning. What's not known is what proposal Governor Ricketts will support. Steve White for Good Morning Nebraska in Lincoln. We think the debate over property taxes has been one of the biggest stories of the year in Nebraska agriculture. Next week on Grow, we will look back at some of our favorite moments from 2015 and also our review of the top stories in agriculture. The farm economy, our #1 story, but 2015, a big year for livestock expansion and the push for more. We want to hear from you. Join us on Facebook and Twitter. Tell us what you think the top agricultural stories of the year are. Farmers could deal with more regulations to deal with the problems of high nitrates in the water. That's what the Central Platte Natural Resources District is dealing with. Here's more. There's a good chance fertilizer is the source of the problem, and if so, farmers say the regulations are reasonable, but they want some more time to study it first.
So I'm not really opposed to the things that we'd have to do.
Farmers never want more regulations, but Mark Haskins says if farming is to blame for high nitrates in the water, it's only fair to be part of the solution.
If I'm part of the problem, I would be much more willing to participate.
The Central Platte Natural Resources District says decades of fertilizer use have pushed nitrates to the point areas in the first phase of regulations will move to the second with more rules.
We know that we've been successful in our other areas. The nitrate levels are creeping down at 1/4 to 1/2 part per million a year, and that's certainly better than creeping up at that level.
Farmers like Haskins would have to record all fertilizer use and pay for more soil and water sampling.
Most of the regulations in the new Phase 2 area are not that bad as far as I'm concerned. It's just a little extra work when you already have a lot of things to do.
Haskins was one of 3 farmers to come before the Central Platte NRD board.
Indicated in red of the being high nitrate.
His main concern is there could be other sources of contamination like septic systems and a failed fertilizer depot that went out of business decades ago. Plus, he says farmers are more conscientious.
Actually, we're doing a lot better job these days of managing the fertilizer and irrigation.
The NRD board voted to wait, giving them more time to digest the questions, but likely will need to do something.
To take care of our groundwater quality and keep an eye on it and address it if it becomes an issue is really what the NRD is all about.
If approved, some areas in southern Hall County and northern Hamilton County would have to comply with stricter regulations than many other areas already have in place. The federal government will be making a big purchase from Nebraska agriculture in the form of dry edible beans. Governor Pete Ricketts made the request to USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack in July. Back then, the hope was to have the feds buy 25 million pounds of beans from Nebraska farmers. The Cornhusker State, #1 producer of great northern beans in the country. You put corn on your dinner plate, now you can put corn on your license plate. Last year, you may remember, the cattlemen resurrected license plates with the Beef State slogan on them. Now the corn growers have followed suit. Applications are being taken now for the specialty license plates. You don't have to be a corn growers member. Anyone who wants to show their support can buy one. The cost is $70. They do need to get 500 applications before the DMV will produce the plates. Organic and conventional farming don't have to be at odds with each other. Maryland's in next with that. Still to come, we head to Ord to meet our Farm Youth of the Month.